Hi everyone, welcome to the VIP MasterClass series. Today's episode comes from Tony. He is the blind pianist that has requested some great things in the past, and I'm continuously amazed at the emails he sends me. He said, I just played the Brahms D minor piano concerto with the local orchestra, and since that's out of the way, I just started 2 new projects. So congrats, Tony. That's a giant undertaking. I'm just in awe of your dedication. And he says and I'm just going to be able to get to this one today. This is the most difficult video that I think that I've approached in VIP, just because the piece that we're going to talk about today is so strange. It's about Stravinsky's Rite of Spring, and I've listened through to the piece a few times, and but I don't play it by any means. I've never played this duet with my wife or anything, and it's just a real beast. I think the whole duet's like 80 pages, so quite the undertaking. So I will do my best here, Tony. But I guess you guys are challenging me on VIP as much as you're facing challenges on your own. So here he says, my question about this piece is quite general, but for your demonstration, you can choose any passages in the piece. Memorizing pieces like this can be particularly challenging for me due to the fact that I can't see the score. With regular changes of time signatures and almost non-tonal writings, I found it very hard to find patterns. Do you have any suggestions on how to create patterns, even though it's difficult throughout this piece? And then I emailed him back, and he said, thanks for taking this big challenge. The 2 big places where I have trouble in terms of counting and memorization, part of it is the meter changes. Meter just meaning the, like time signatures, are the very beginning section, the introduction where the bassoon has the melody in the orchestra version, and I have trouble memorizing the meter changes and where the fermatas are. And the last returning section, about the last 2 pages of the score, I think, in the sacrificial dance, where the meters change from 3/16, 4/16, and 5/16. So if you can demonstrate with these 2 places, that'd be highly appreciated. Here's the sheet music from my MSLP, and I'll link that as well underneath today's video on the VIP page. So just right under where you guys are watching right now. So the first thing, Tony, is to look at the freedom in this first section. So when you say that you're having trouble finding, where the fermatas are, I think that maybe do a lot of, obviously you are probably, but do a lot of listening to that bassoon part. I listened through to it a few times. I'll demonstrate with the first, let's see, it'd probably be about 10 bars here. And the way I listened to the London Symphony Orchestra, and the way they shape that, so super weird, but I do want to show you a few things. I first of all, before all of the rest of you log off and say I'm never going to play Rite of Spring, I want to do a general memorization video, and then I'll get into specifics for Tony on this, which will hopefully help each of you to see a really tough example. But having said that, let's go over some basics with memorizing. I already touched on one earlier. Listening. I notice that I memorize very quickly when I'm constantly listening to the piece. It gets into your subconscious a lot more quickly than if you're only practicing it. And you might think, oh, I'm listening to it while I play it. But, listening to it away from the piano and really allowing it to kind of seep into your subconscious is a way that I like to think about it. So that's the first thing. I remember I had to memorize Polonaise Fantasy for the National Chopin competition in 2010. It was required of everyone. And I remember I could not memorize that dang thing. And then my teacher said, are you living with it like 24/7? You're listening to it every moment you can. And I said, oh no, I listen to it like once a day. She said, no, listen to it like 10 times a day. And I had the whole thing memorized within like a week or 2 after that. It was like a 20-page piece. So it does speed up that process. You asked about creating patterns, Tony. Now I want to talk about, first of all, the 3 different types of memorization. The first one, which I'm not sure exactly how you think about this, but you still have a visual memory even though you can't see the score. Maybe you're visualizing the keyboard. It's good for each of us to have as many visualization techniques. So imagining the notes on a score. I don't know if you do that, Tony. For each of us, for the rest of us, we do need to kind of take a picture of the score in our minds. Second of all, imagine what it looks like on the keyboard. How are the black and white key relationships? What does it look like on the piano? So develop that. Developing an auditory memory. So kind of what I touched on, but listening a lot, because your ear will guide you. If you start to mess up, your ear will guide you. And then finally, a tactile approach. And this can be taken many different ways. I'm not just saying how it feels like muscle memory, like, I'm going to bust out a Chopin etude and it's just in my fingers. But I'm also saying, thank you so much for watching. I've listed 2 links in the description below. One of them is to download this full video that you've just watched the sample for. The other is to view the entire library of VIP Masterclass series videos. I hope you've enjoyed this. Have a great week. Good luck in your practice sessions.